It was meant to be the fighter that ended all fighters, the jet that would dominate the skies for half a century. But instead, it became the most expensive weapons program in human history. Its cost? Over $1.7 trillion, more than the GDP of most nations. This is the story of the F-35, not just a jet, but a mirror reflecting how modern empires build, spend, and sometimes lose control of their own ambitions. Welcome to Causality Deep Dive. Today, we uncover how one aircraft became the most expensive machine ever built, and what it reveals about power, progress, and the price of dominance. So what exactly is the F-35? The F-35 Lightning II is a fifth-generation stealth fighter jet designed and built by Lockheed Martin, the American aerospace giant headquartered in Bethesda, Maryland. It's not just one aircraft, but three variants built on a single frame. The F-35A, the conventional takeoff model used by the US Air Force and most NATO allies. The F-35B, designed for vertical takeoff and landing, like a helicopter, used by the US Marines and the British Royal Navy. And the F-35C, the carrier version, built to launch from massive aircraft carriers at sea. In theory, these three versions would replace nearly every frontline fighter across the Western world, from the American F-16 and A-10 to Britain's Harriers and even Japan's F-4s. One aircraft to rule them all. But that dream of a single jet for every mission was both its greatest selling point and its fatal flaw. The story begins in the final decade of the Cold War, the 1980s, when the United States faced the Soviet Union in a global arms race that stretched from Berlin to the Pacific. In that era, a new kind of technology was emerging: stealth. Lockheed's Secret Skunk Works division, led by legendary engineer Ben Rich, successor to the brilliant Kelly Johnson, had built the world's first true stealth aircraft, the F-117 Nighthawk. Its strange, angular design could deflect radar waves, making it nearly invisible to detection. The success of the F-117 and later the B-2 Spirit bomber convinced US strategists that stealth was the future of air dominance. But there was a problem. These aircraft were limited, expensive, and specialized. They couldn't dogfight or handle multiple mission types. So by the 1990s, the Pentagon wanted something new, a single stealth fighter that could replace nearly everything else. Enter the Joint Strike Fighter program. The idea was simple, at least on paper. Instead of building separate aircraft for the Air Force, Navy, and Marines, why not design a single core fighter that could adapt to each branch's needs? One jet for all missions shared across the US and allied nations, saving billions through standardization. In 1996, the Pentagon held a high-stakes competition between two giants, Lockheed Martin and Boeing. Lockheed's prototype, the X-35, went head-to-head with Boeing's X-32. In 2001, Lockheed won. The victory marked the birth of the F-35 program, hailed as the future of global air power. But beneath the celebration lay a dangerous complexity. Because each military branch wanted something slightly different, the Air Force wanted agility, the Navy wanted long range, the Marines wanted vertical takeoff. The F-35 had to be everything at once. And that, in engineering terms, is like trying to build a sports car that can also be a submarine and a dump truck. The more capabilities they added, the more the cost spiraled. Each plane was packed with bleeding-edge systems, radar-absorbing skin, advanced avionics, a supercomputer that fused data from multiple sensors, and a new pilot helmet that could literally see through the aircraft. The result? A marvel of engineering, but also a logistical nightmare. By 2012, the Government Accountability Office, the GAO, warned that the program was billions over budget and years behind schedule. The total cost estimate eventually reached $1.7 trillion, not just for building the planes, but maintaining them for decades. That's more than the entire Apollo space program, adjusted for inflation. And yet, cancelling it was impossible, because Lockheed Martin had cleverly distributed the F-35's production across nearly every US state and over 10 allied countries. Each state had jobs tied to the program. Each country had factories supplying parts. Cancelling the jet meant political suicide. In effect, the F-35 became too big to fail. Not everyone was impressed. Pierre Sprey, one of the engineers behind the F-16 and A-10 and a member of the US defense reform movement, became one of the F-35's harshest critics. Born in France and educated at Yale, Sprey believed in simplicity and performance over complexity and cost. He called the F-35 a technological monster, too heavy, too slow, and too expensive to win a real war. Others argued the opposite, that the F-35 wasn't just a plane, but a flying supercomputer capable of fusing radar, infrared, and satellite data into one battlefield picture. In modern warfare, information is power, and the F-35 was designed to own the information space. In military terms, it's not a dogfighter. It's a networked hunter, designed to strike before it's even seen. Today, the F-35 is flown by more than 15 countries, from the United States and the United Kingdom to Japan, Italy, Australia, and Israel. Each variant adapted for different needs, but all sharing one digital nervous system, a single software architecture controlling every jet on Earth. This global network gives the US and its allies unmatched coordination, but it also creates dependency. If that software ever fails, or is compromised, the world's most advanced air fleets could be grounded overnight. In a sense, the F-35 represents both mastery and fragility, the power of integration and the risk of over-connection. So how did we get here? Step by step, decision by decision, from Cold War paranoia to 21st century bureaucracy. Each stage made sense on its own. Combine programs to save money, share technology to strengthen allies, automate systems to gain an edge. But together, they created a project that became as vast and uncontrollable as the empires that built it. As defense analyst Todd Harrison said, the F-35 is less a fighter jet than a lesson in modern empire management. Its price isn't just financial, it's conceptual, a warning about complexity, ambition, and the illusion of control. Because in chasing the perfect machine, we built one too complicated to ever truly master. And yet, despite its flaws, the F-35 flies. It dominates the skies of today's alliances, a symbol of Western military reach and industrial might. It represents both the genius and the contradiction of our age, where innovation and inefficiency coexist inside the same machine. As one Pentagon official once said, the F-35 is what happens when technology outruns strategy. In that sense, it's not just an aircraft, it's a story of causality itself. The The story of how every great system, military, political, or industrial, eventually faces the same question. Are we still controlling the machine, or has the machine begun controlling us? This has been Causality Deep Dive. Next we'll ask, what happens if the next empire to overreach isn't the United States, but China? Join us as we explore what if China collapses, the true global domino effect. Subscribe, and remember, don't just learn what happened. Understand why it happened.